This is a presentation of the Sports Source Digital Network, presented by Hearthside Bank.
Welcome into the Sports Source Digital Network. I'm John Pennington, joined by VFL's Marlon Walls, Ollie Lane, and VFL at heart, John Wilkerson. We do this every week. It's called 5 Questions. We don't have a lot of specific questions about UAB, so we're taking big picture here. Question number 1. What has been a bigger surprise this season? How good Joey Aguilar and Tennessee have been? Or how bad Nico Iamaleava and UCLA have been? Bigger surprise to you?
Obviously, it's Joey. I know for me, my prediction of the season was based off of you getting a new quarterback in, the scrutiny that was surrounding the kid as far as his work ethic and what he loves, and then also learning this offense in a short period of time.
And so all the picks he threw at his last spot.
Exactly. So for me, my biggest question mark was Joey. I knew the defense was going to show up, but he has been the biggest surprise. He has been a constant since the first game. For me, hands down, Joey Aguilar.
Yeah, I would agree entirely, simply for the fact that there were so many questions, and you would have to see him perhaps travel a different path than what he had the last couple of years. And at the same time, UCLA was middle of the road at best last year, and it's not as though they got much, much better in terms of all of the supporting cast, which is important to some. But anyhow, I just think that they were lagging to begin with, and this has just been a disaster.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that UCLA is this bad. Nico looks like, I think Nico would have looked here last year if you didn't have a great run game and a great defense. I think you've taken a guy who was a so-so quarterback. Maybe he would have developed. Maybe he would have been better this year under Heupel. But you've taken a guy who last year was, okay, middle of the road, game manager. You made it to the playoffs with him, but it was all the other pieces around him. Now you've exposed him by taking all the other pieces away, and it's like, well, hell, go carry us. Well, he can't carry you. He's not that good. So, to me, the surprise is, I'll get specific with it, the decision-making of Joey Aguilar. 24 picks, and I know everybody was like, yeah, but he was throwing from behind. He had to do that. Okay, that maybe not. I had no way of knowing that. So the fact that he's come in here and been cool and composed, that has surprised me. So I agree with you guys. It's Tennessee and Aguilar being this good. Ollie, where are you?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like every single week we talk about this kid, Joey Aguilar. He continues to impress everybody every single week and does more every single week than he did the week before. So it makes it exciting to watch him and continue. However, I'm shocked that Nico and them are as bad as they are. Like, I know UCLA is not a top-tier program. They can care less about football out in L.A. But, I mean, just wow. Karma will get you. And, I mean, it's just, you're a 5-star, highly touted quarterback. And it's just, it is shocking to me to just see how bad that slid down the wayside for him. So, I
mean, he's going to be a boogeyman story.
Yeah.
Careful about getting in that portal, kid. Could be Nico'd. I mean, that literally, he's a cautionary tale. If it continues, there's a chance. I mean, you lose to UNLV in New Mexico, this team could be staring at an 0-12, which is a remarkable thing to say. So, anyway, I think Aguilar's the bigger surprise, but I didn't expect 0-12.
Yeah, no.
All right. Rank the SEC. Question 2. Rank the SEC's best teams. Stop when you get to Tennessee. Ollie, I'll let you start.
You definitely got to start. I think Georgia's still on top for the time being, just until someone kind of takes them off that pedestal. And then I assume you got to go to LSU. I think LSU's a talented team. They're still yet to – I mean, they've proven it a lot in finishing games off. There's still some stuff in their offense that I don't really care to like a lot.
Right. Well, and Brian Kelly will yell at you if you question it.
Yeah, exactly. But then, I mean, I feel like I got to go Tennessee at that third spot. They're up there for me in the SEC. I mean, obviously, yes, you still got teams like Texas, and Oklahoma's really shocking people. But you see what happened with South Carolina this past weekend. You lose a Lador Sellers. That's an awful team. You can see what Vanderbilt's still kind of in the mix a little bit, but I would never put them rising, in my opinion. And then, I mean, Alabama's down. You look across the SEC, down, but down, not
down compared to what they had.
Yes. So, I mean, I think Tennessee's put themselves in a really strong front-runner position if they want it and can go out and take it. Obviously, if you win that game against Georgia, I think you stop at number one. Yeah. Tennessee's your best. But, I mean, you put up a fight like that. I mean, instant game classic against a Kirby Smart defense and who you put on that pinnacle of the SEC right now, you got to be impressed with where this is going to go.
All right, so Georgia, LSU, Tennessee for Ollie. John Wilkerson, what are you doing?
I might lean Texas 3A, and I mean Texas 3 and Tennessee 3A. That's how close I think it could be, because I think Tennessee can beat anybody else in the conference, including Georgia, if it were to be a rematch. I just think that would be one that I would, because of what the strength of their defense is, that would be the only instance where I nose them ahead.
Their roster is loaded with blue chippers,
Yeah.
much like Georgia's was more than Tennessee's. And in the end, that tends to make a difference. So I see where you're going there with Texas. The interesting thing, I never would have dreamed that, well, Texas would be better if they had Joey Aguilar and didn't have Arch Manning. I mean, that's a bit of an exaggeration. I watched a breakdown this week where somebody went back and looked at the first 5 starts for Archie, which is a totally different sport back then, for Peyton, which was a different sport even back then. It's a different way the offense is operated. But Arch Manning looks like Peyton and Eli in his first stat-wise after 4 starts, which surprised me. But you go back to Peyton Manning, they were still splitting some time between him. Brandon Stewart got a couple of snaps. So Arch probably isn't as bad as he's getting made out to be. The problem is he was built up way too high.
Correct.
And now people are shooting holes at him. So I like your pick of Texas. I think roster-wise, I would go Texas. I tell you what, I'll flip it a little bit. I'll go Georgia 1, Texas 2, Tennessee 3, LSU 4. I just, and the reason is I'd rather have Josh Heupel than Brian Kelly for a coaching standpoint. So I'll take Tennessee over LSU. Oklahoma is right there nipping at their heels though. And I'm not writing off Alabama because they look Wisconsin's not the same Wisconsin, but Alabama looked like they were getting right.
And you're talking about the roster makeup, the
Again,
construction of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
A little motivated.
Marlon, what are you doing?
All right, here we go. I'm going to shake it up a little bit.
Okay.
I'm going to go Texas A&M,
Whoa.
Georgia, Tennessee, LSU, and then you got Oklahoma in there fighting. Super impressed with Texas A&M. The quarterback is mobile. He's got some good receivers now. The running backs are deep. You've got that kid Concession over there who's balling, who gave us problems. Gave us problems. And then also, their defense is going to come to play. I'm going to go, and a big win over Notre Dame this past Saturday. So I'm going to go Texas A&M until I see different, but I got to go Texas A&M, Georgia, and then I'll go Tennessee.
I have yet to see A&M play a snap so far this year. So that I may be completely missing that bus, but it is a top 10 team. Okay, glad somebody mentioned them. Good job. Next, question number 3. Of the last 8 coaches to win national championships, 4 played defense, 4 played offense in college. That includes quarterbacks Ryan Day, Jim Harbaugh, Jimbo Fisher. This weekend's game, you got Josh Heupel against Trent Dilfer, 2 more ex-quarterbacks. If you were an AD hiring a coach today, would you hire a guy who coached defense? Would you hire a guy who coached offense? Would you hire a quarterback? And why?
I feel like I've lived on both sides of this. Pruitt, defensive guy, Heupel, offensive guy. If it's up to me, I feel like I'm going after an offensive guy just because you want to make sure that you can score points. I mean, there was years there with Pruitt where it was maybe you're scratching to get 14 a game. And so that's a difficult situation to be in. But also, it also depends on how they set it up. The way you think it should be set up is, all right, I'm an offensive-minded coach. I got the offense. I'm bringing someone in. That's my defensive head coach. Yes, he's the DC, but that's the head coach for the defense. Pruitt never really understood that. So he would try to overstep into the offense and Jim Chaney's offensive style.
Plays.
Way too much. And I mean, when you hire a guy like Jim Chaney, hey, run my offense. That's why you hire a person like that. That's why Josh Heupel's hired a person like Tim Banks. Hey, run my defense. I got the offense. I'm not going to step in your ground. You don't step in my ground. And that's how it should work. And now, obviously, you want some interconnection as well because your head coach is supposed to be knowledgeable on all things. But if it was my personal decision as an AD, I'd go after an offensive guy because I just want to secure that, hey, I'm going to score points at the end of the day.
I'm looking for a former quarterback, and the reason is I don't think there's a position on the field that has as big an impact from program to pro. Again, look at Tennessee, look at UCLA. I don't know that Tennessee's doing this if they still had Nico Iamaleava. I don't think they are. I think the quarterback's the biggest thing, so give me a quarterback-friendly coach. Now, that you could get the Steve Spurrier, which is the quarterback-unfriendly coach, because I played it. Why aren't you as good as me? But I'm thinking a guy like Josh Heupel, somebody who understands what a quarterback is having to face and what he's going through, understands the game, has a modern outlook on offense, knows that, I'll get a defensive guy to run the defense, but we got to have points.
Yeah.
I would go with an offensive guy specifically. I would look toward a quarterback. I really would. John, would it matter to you? What would you do?
It would not matter to me, and it just because one of the most impressive coaches that I've been around, either as an assistant or a head coach, is David Cutcliffe, and so he's known for his offensive mind. He was a linebacker. So that was what he played before he moved over to the other side and moved into the coaching ranks as a graduate assistant and so on. So I just think if you've got that kind of experience, what I want is a guy who knows exactly where his side of the ball should be attacked. So if it is a defensive-minded guy, I want him to be able to tell me what is it that gives you the most trouble, and vice versa. So I just want somebody who's familiar with the game, who's got a great feel for it, and you also just see is a good guy in terms of he's going to work well with his assistants, in terms of his staff, and get along with his players.
Ryan Day is another guy. He was a quarterback and a linebacker in college, played on both sides of the ball. But he wound up setting records under Chip Kelly at New Hampshire with his offense. But still, that's another guy who played defense. You've got guys on both sides of the ball who've had success.
Yep.
What are you doing, Marlon? You're an ex-defender yourself.
Ex-defensive guy, and I'm going quarterback. And here's the reason why. Just take Heupel's deal, for instance. Comes in. There's a lot of guys jump into the transfer portal. We get into the transfer portal. We just got done with Pruitt, where guys felt a certain way, felt like they was being disrespected. That whole motivation thing wasn't there. As a quarterback, quarterbacks are usually pretty calm and cool. They're pretty good with the defensive guys. They're also good with the offensive guys. And so for me, I want an offensive guy, but I also want a quarterback who's seen it both sides of the ball. I know what they're doing on defense to me, so I know offensively how to attack you. And then here's the other thing I would throw in there. I love what Danny White did. He not only go get a quarterback, he go get a guy that's got a unique offense, something that's gonna entice the fans, get the fan base behind it. You look what he's doing in women's basketball, right?
Exactly.
Up tempo, fast, get the fans excited, something different, but also makes you prepare for it. So I want me a quarterback with a unique offense.
I think the other thing about a quarterback, just to throw one last nugget in here and why I like going after that kind of hire, they are the team leader. They have to know how to bring a team together. Heupel does not look like he would be the world's greatest speech maker, but we've talked on numerous occasions. He knows which buttons to push to get those guys together. And I think there's something to be said because if you know you're getting a quarterback, you're getting a team leader. So that's all right. We've covered that. John's the only one who was wrong. Here's a goofy question. Question number 4. If Vanderbilt were evicted from the SEC, a dream of mine, if they were evicted and some small program that plays a bunch of SEC teams had to be dragged in the pinch, your choices: UAB, who Tennessee plays tomorrow, Memphis, Tulane, Southern Miss. Who would you go with?
I'm going Memphis. I was thinking Memphis
there
before you even threw out the names.
Okay.
Memphis, it's close quarters. It's in our area. They've got an exciting offense. Defense plays. Fan base is down a little bit, but I think it'd be exciting. And then it'd be a big rivalry with Tennessee anyways.
I think you'd
a lot
have
of history.
You'd have a rivalry there with Tennessee. You'd have a rivalry with Arkansas. You could have a rivalry with Ole Miss. You could have a rivalry with Mississippi State. They make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But I'm going Tulane because that gets the SEC back to New Orleans. And any chance I have to go to New Orleans, I'm in to New Orleans. Tulane used to be in the SEC. I say bring Tulane back. That would be mine if you had to get one of these small schools who faces a lot of SEC teams. So we haven't had a UAB yet. We haven't had a Southern Miss yet. Tulane, Memphis, where are you going, John?
Green Wave. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Just because, as you mentioned, original member of the Southeastern Conference, there's a history there. Also, their hometown, New Orleans. So I just think it is all pluses. If you were able to excommunicate Vanderbilt, then give me the green wave every day.
Well, and you don't lose anything academically. Tulane's a great academic institution.
Sure enough.
This trade, if only Vanderbilt had left in the 60s instead of Tulane. I guess Tulane left in the 40s. Sewanee left in the 40s. Tulane and Georgia Tech both left in the 60s.
Correct.
Yeah. Ollie, UAB, Memphis, Southern Miss, or whoever the hell else I said.
Yeah.
Southern Miss, Memphis, Tulane, UAB, on and on.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would lean towards Tulane in just a sense of their competitiveness. They've kind of been in the mix the last few years. Yeah. And so, I mean, if you're going to drop the least competitive team from your conference, I want to bring someone in that's going to beef up that competition. So that's why I would lean towards Tulane. But also to your point, I think Memphis would be a really interesting addition. I mean, that would just breed so much more interest into the SEC football title of being
Basketball.
big rivalries.
Oh,
and then you add in the other sports like basketball and stuff. I think Memphis would add a lot to it. And plus, you're staying in the state of Tennessee.
Yeah, it would bring more heat. I think you'd have some real fire with Tennessee and Memphis. All right. Last one, question number 5. The NCAA just yesterday voted to do away with the spring transfer windows. You're down to 1, but they're picking the dates for it. Now, right now, they do it January 2nd through the 11th. You tell me, when is the best time for a transfer window 10 days long? You can put it, it doesn't have to be January. Yeah. Where do you want to put it? What's the best place to put the transfer window?
It needs to be at the end of the season. And honestly, kind of where they have it is what, in my mind, would be the perfect area. It's before your second semester or your winter semester starts for a lot of schools, so guys that can transfer can get to that place and get enrolled and started before it goes. Because, it makes no sense if you're going to just waste a spring practice with another team and then go learn another system over the summer.
Yeah.
That way you're getting in, you get a full year, you get that full spring to kind of get used to everything. That's the only window that makes sense to me in the first place. The spring window never really made a lot of sense because it feels like you're just putting yourself at a disadvantage. But the only other issue that I have with the portal window being there is you're going to have guys, one, hold out of bowl games, hold out of different situations. And even some situations, guys decide to transfer before they even play a playoff game.
Right.
And so you have situations where guys are just kind of holding themselves out like the NFL. And I don't really like that. I don't know if it's just from my parents raising me up this way, but if you start something, you finish something. And this is just kind of taking away that whole moral standing that I'll see this all the way through.
Yeah.
And I think there's something important that's being missed with that.
The second semester thing, that had completely slipped my mind. I was just looking at it as, put it in February, start of February.
Yeah.
Once football season is over. See, that's my problem. I think, and you can say, well, they're in the playoffs, they should be at a disadvantage. Yeah. But any team that's in the playoffs here, you're having to coach for your life and handle the transfer portal at the same time. That doesn't make sense to me. So I would almost, if I could move it back a week or two to where the national championship game has been played, now the portal opens. And you got 10 days, or even make it 7 days, make it shorter. But it does, when does the second semester start? That plays a role in it. John, when would you put a transfer portal?
I'm good with what this spells it out.
Second to the 11th.
That's right. And that's just because every other NCAA coach deals with their respective portal in that stretch. As soon as the season is over and the race to a championship has begun, your postseason is underway, that's when every other portal opens. So this would be just putting the football coaches where every other coach is. Because Tony Vitello, as soon as they get into regional play, that's when guys start perhaps putting their name in the portal, and that's when you have to be aware of who is wanting to leave other programs. Same for Rick Barnes, same for Kim Caldwell. This is just where all coaches, except football to this point, have had to focus to split their attention when it comes to dealing with the portal as well as finishing your postseason.
Got it. I'm just a more caring individual. I have more empathy for these poor multimillionaire coaches. Marlon, where does the portal leave, or is it fine where it is?
I say it's fine where it is. Just for me, it's I don't want to put it behind spring ball because, again, it takes away that. I got to earn my position. Man, I'm sacking on the depth chart. I'm leaving. Spring ball, you ain't really taking it that serious anyways. I think fall camp is when it starts to really pick up who's where. So I say leave it here that way. As soon as, like you said, playoff gets started, guys can start to kind of look around, see where they're going. I say leave them right where it is.
We all agree, though, that doing away with the other one is a wise way. You don't need two of them.
Don't need two.
No. All right. Marlon Walls, John Wilkerson, Ollie Lane, thanks to all of you. Thanks for you for watching. If you like this, hit the thumbs up, hit subscribe, ring the bell. Leave us a comment, argue, debate, give us your questions or your answers to these questions. Or if you want to send me questions for next week, you can do that too. We'll see you next time on the Sports Source Digital Network.